This striking image captures a pivotal moment in music history. Here is Elvis Presley at RCA Victor Studio in New York City on December 1, 1955. He had signed with RCA Victor only weeks before, a massive leap from his original Sun Records label. Notice the guitar? It was not his. He actually borrowed it for this specific session to record early demos. This visit to the big city studio marked a significant change from his familiar Memphis recording environment. The pressure was immense, but this session was the first step in transforming Elvis from a regional sensation into an international icon. Witness the sheer chaos of Elvis mania taking over America. This photo shows Elvis Presley at the Fox Theater in Detroit, Michigan on May 25, 1956. The excitement in the city was uncontrollable. Elvis performed 3 separate shows that single day, one in the afternoon and 2 in the evening. An estimated 15,000 fans, mostly teenage girls, packed the venue. The screaming was so intense that many reports claimed the music itself was completely drowned out. This was not just a concert, it was a phenomenon, proving that Elvis was becoming the undisputed king of rock and roll. This handshake changed television forever. Here we see Ed Sullivan with Elvis Presley in 1956. Initially, Sullivan was hesitant to book the controversial singer. However, after rival shows drew huge ratings with Elvis, Sullivan signed him for 3 appearances. Elvis's first appearance in September 1956 drew an estimated 60 million viewers, which accounted for over 80% of the entire television audience. It was a rating unheard of at the time. This broadcast introduced Elvis to mainstream America, launching him from star to superstar and making rock and roll a permanent part of popular culture. Did you know Elvis Presley was not a natural brunette? This 1956 photo shows his iconic jet black hairstyle, but Elvis was actually born a natural blonde, with sandy brown hair as he grew older. He began dyeing his hair black when he was just a teenager. He reportedly even used shoe polish in the early days before switching to commercial dyes. Elvis believed the dark color provided a more dramatic, striking appearance. He felt it intensified his blue eyes, especially for black and white photographs and television broadcasts. The look became so famous, it remains an essential part of his image today. The music world almost lost Elvis to a different passion. As seen in this 1956 photo, Elvis was a skilled musician, but he received his first guitar at age 11 only after a compromise. He originally wanted a rifle, but his mother, Gladys, guided him toward the guitar at the Tupelo hardware store. Despite his incredible talent, Elvis never learned to read music. His gift was entirely intuitive. He played guitar, piano, and bass, learning complex songs completely by ear. He would listen to a record, memorize the chords, and then reinterpret the music in his own unique style. By 1957, Elvis Presley was arguably the most famous man in the world. This candid photo shows him signing autographs for a sea of fans in Los Angeles. That year was monumental for his career. He was in Los Angeles to film his hit movie Jailhouse Rock and performed sold-out concerts, including a famous show at the Pan Pacific Auditorium. Despite the chaos that surrounded him, Elvis was known for being incredibly gracious with his fans. He would often stop his car or pause between film takes just to sign autographs and speak with them, creating a deep loyalty that lasts decades. This single image represents a revolution in movie making. It's a publicity photo for the 1957 film Jailhouse Rock, Elvis's 3rd movie. While the film was a major box office hit, its legacy is defined by the title track's iconic dance number. That sequence, featuring Elvis in a prison setting, is widely considered by modern critics to be the prototype for the first ever music video. Elvis was deeply involved in creating the dance moves, showcasing his unique style.
This film proved that his explosive energy could be captured on screen, merging music and cinema in a way never seen before. In 1957, this was considered one of the most controversial sights in America. This photo captures Elvis performing live, showcasing the dynamic hip movements that terrified polite society. Critics and concerned parents labeled his style vulgar and dangerous, earning him the nickname Elvis the Pelvis. The moral panic grew so intense that television producers began censoring him. During his famous third appearance on The Ed Sullivan Show in January 1957, the director was ordered to film Elvis only from the waist up, hiding the very movements that made his live performances an electrifying cultural event. This photo shows Elvis in 1958, a year that marked a major turning point as he was drafted into the U.S. Army. But his time in the spotlight was built on a deep musical foundation. Growing up in Memphis, Elvis frequently attended church and gospel singings. This music was his first love and remained his private passion throughout his life. This unique blending of styles is why Elvis achieved something few artists have. He was inducted into 4 different music halls of fame: rock and roll, country, gospel, and rockabilly. He truly was a one-of-a-kind musical pioneer. At the peak of his fame, in March 1958, Elvis Presley traded his gold lame suit for an army uniform. When he was drafted, the military offered him a comfortable role in the special services, which would involve entertaining troops and living in luxury. Elvis refused. He famously stated, "The Army can do anything it wants with me," and insisted on serving as a regular soldier. This decision shocked the public and earned him immense respect, shifting his image from a rebellious youth to a patriotic American. He served his time just like any other GI. Elvis Presley's time in the Army wasn't just about military service, it defined his personal future. After training at Fort Hood, he was assigned to the 3rd Armored Division in Friedberg, West Germany. While living off-base in the town of Bad Nauheim, he hosted parties to feel a sense of normalcy. It was at one of these gatherings in September 1959 that he met 14-year-old Priscilla Bulio, the stepdaughter of an Air Force officer. This meeting, which happened in his own rented home, was a pivotal personal moment amid his military duty. Their connection blossomed, culminating in their 1967 wedding. This photo captures one of the most difficult periods in Elvis's life. During his army service in Germany, his mother, Gladys Presley, fell seriously ill. Elvis was granted emergency leave and rushed back to Memphis to be by her side. Tragically, she passed away just days later, on August 14, 1958, from heart failure. Elvis was completely devastated. He and Gladys shared an incredibly close bond. She was his biggest supporter and confidant. Her loss profoundly affected him for the rest of his life, and he would often speak of how much he missed her. 2 life-altering habits began during Elvis's time in Germany. The first was a lifelong passion, his introduction to karate. He trained relentlessly, earning a black belt and famously incorporating its dynamic moves into his 1970 stage shows. The second was more complex. Like many soldiers, Elvis was introduced to amphetamines to stay alert during grueling night maneuvers and guard duties. While common in the military, this introduction began a reliance on stimulants. This photo captures a soldier at a crossroads, adopting a discipline that would shape his persona and a habit that would pose significant challenges for years to come. This fascinating 1960 photograph shows Elvis Presley's global status, even extending to royalty. Here, he is seated with King Mahendra and Queen Ratna of Nepal. The royal couple was on a world tour, which included a stop in the United States. During their visit to Hollywood, they were guests at Paramount Studios. As the studio's biggest star, Elvis was chosen to host them. He gave them a personal tour of the set of his film, G.I. Blues. This encounter highlights how Elvis had become a global ambassador for American entertainment, meeting world leaders who were curious about the king of rock and roll. Even during his military service, Elvis's home was a sanctuary. This 1960 photo shows him outside his beloved Graceland estate in Memphis. He returned here while on leave before his official discharge in March. After spending 2 years as a regular soldier in Germany, returning to Graceland was a significant comfort. The estate, which he had purchased in 1957, was his private retreat from the intense pressures of fame and the rigid structure of army life. This brief return home was a chance to reconnect with his family and prepare for his massive comeback to civilian life and entertainment.
Elvis Presley took his military service seriously, and his dedication did not go unnoticed. This photo reflects his time as a soldier, where he was determined to be treated like any other GI. He excelled in his duties with the 3rd Armored Division, driving tanks and serving as a scout. His superiors praised his positive attitude and commitment. As a result of his competence and leadership qualities, he was promoted to the rank of sergeant on February 11, 1960, just before his service ended. He was also awarded the Army Good Conduct Medal, proving he was more than just a celebrity in uniform.
This image captures the beginning of Elvis's movie era. Here he is in 1961's Blue Hawaii, a film that defined his 1960s career. He plays Chadwick Gates, a soldier returning home to Hawaii. His family wants him to join the family business, but he prefers a more carefree life as a tour guide. The film was a massive box office success, and its soundtrack was even more dominant. It spent 20 weeks at #1 on the charts and featured the timeless classic Can't Help Falling in Love. This movie set the formula for many of his future films: an exotic location, light comedy, and several hit songs.
In 1961, Elvis was more than just a singer. He was a major cultural figure for his home state. Here he is at the Tennessee State Capitol in Nashville. He was there to be honored by the state legislature, which officially declared Elvis Presley Day. He is seen with Ann Ellington, the daughter of Tennessee's Commissioner of Agriculture, Buford Ellington, who was a close friend. This event solidified his status as a beloved son of Tennessee. That same day, he also performed 2 sold-out charity shows at Ellis Auditorium in Memphis, raising over $50,000 for local charities, showing his deep connection to his community. Look closely at this 1963 photo, and you might spot a future Hollywood legend. This is Elvis on the set of his film It Happened at the World's Fair. The movie was a light-hearted comedy set against the backdrop of the futuristic 1962 Seattle World's Fair. Elvis played a crop duster pilot trying to win money to get his plane back. This film is also famous for featuring a very young Kurt Russell in his first ever movie role. In a brief scene, Russell's character is paid by Elvis to kick him in the shin, a fun piece of trivia for movie fans. This playful 1964 photo from the set of Viva Las Vegas captures one of the most electric pairings in Elvis's career. He is seen with his co-star, Anne Margaret. Their on-screen chemistry was undeniable, making the film one of his most popular and energetic movies. They played a race car driver and a swimming instructor, respectively, who fall in love. Off-screen, their chemistry was just as real. By the mid-1960s, Elvis was a master of the Hollywood publicity photo. This charming shot shows him at Maryland Aquarium in January 1965, playfully feeding a whale. He was in California filming his movie Girl Happy, where he played a singer hired to chaperone a group of college girls on spring break. This type of light-hearted, family-friendly photo was a key part of his public image during his film career. It presented him as a fun-loving, approachable star. While he was privately frustrated with his movie roles, he remained professional and always delivered the perfect shot for the press. This photo captures the long-awaited wedding of Elvis and Priscilla Presley on May 1, 1967. The ceremony was held in a private suite at the Aladdin Hotel in Las Vegas. At the time, Elvis was 32 and Priscilla was 21. Their relationship had begun nearly 8 years earlier in Germany when she was just 14. After years of a carefully managed long-distance courtship, the wedding itself was a small, private affair arranged by Colonel Tom Parker. It lasted only 8 minutes and was followed by a press conference and a lavish breakfast reception for their closest friends and family. This 1968 promotional photo pairs Elvis with a true Hollywood legend, Joan Blondell, for the film Stay Away Joe. This movie was a departure from his usual musical comedies. Elvis played Joe Lightcloud, a Navajo rodeo rider who returns to his reservation. While still a comedy, the film had a more adult and rowdy tone. Joan Blondell, a major star from the 1930s, played his mother. This period marked Elvis's growing frustration with his film career as he longed for more serious roles. This film was one of his last before he would make his triumphant return to live music later that year. This intimate photo shows a side of Elvis the public rarely saw, the proud father. Here he is with Priscilla and their newborn daughter, Lisa Marie Presley, who was born on February 1, 1968, exactly 9 months after their wedding. Elvis was reportedly overjoyed and terrified at becoming a father. He doted on Lisa Marie, nicknaming her Lisa and Buttonhead. He famously flew her home from the hospital in a private jet. This photo, taken at Baptist Memorial Hospital in Memphis, captures a moment of private happiness and family normalcy before he would stage his incredible career comeback. This was not just a performance, it was a resurrection. On December 3, 1968, Elvis Presley shed his Hollywood movie persona and reclaimed his crown with the '68 comeback special. After years of making formulaic films, his career was stalling. This NBC special was a massive gamble. Clad in an unforgettable black leather suit, Elvis performed with a raw, powerful energy not seen in a decade. The show masterfully mixed intimate, sit-down jam sessions where he was relaxed and charismatic with full-scale production numbers. The special concluded with the passionate anthem, "If I Can Dream," single-handedly revitalizing his career. This photo shows Priscilla and Elvis in a private booth in Las Vegas, a city he would soon conquer. It also hints at one of his little-known personal quirks. Elvis was known by his inner circle to be a germaphobe. He was particularly wary of germs from public places. When dining out, he often preferred to use his own set of silverware, which he would bring from home. This quirk extended to other areas as well. He disliked drinking from a cup that someone else had used. It was a peculiar habit for one of the world's most accessible superstars. This man, Colonel Tom Parker, was the architect of Elvis's career. Parker, born in the Netherlands, managed Elvis from 1955 until his death. A former carnival promoter, he was a master showman who negotiated Elvis's RCA record deal, his film contracts, and his iconic Las Vegas residencies. He even managed Elvis's image during his army service. However, their relationship was complex. Parker took a controversial 50% commission, far above the industry standard. He also famously blocked all international tours, possibly because he was an undocumented immigrant and feared he could not re-enter the U.S. This is the most requested photograph in the U.S. National Archives. Elvis Presley meeting President Richard Nixon on December 21, 1970. The meeting happened because Elvis, concerned about the counterculture movement, hand-delivered a 6-page letter to the White House gate. He offered his services to help the country and requested to be made a federal agent at large for the Bureau of Narcotics and Dangerous Drugs. Nixon, hoping to connect with the youth, agreed to the meeting. Elvis arrived wearing a famous velvet suit and brought a gift, a Colt .45 pistol which he presented to the president. This 1970 photo captures the energy of Elvis's first concert tour in over a decade. He is seen performing at the Arizona Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Phoenix.
After his 1968 comeback and his smashing success in Las Vegas, Elvis was finally back on the road. This show on September 9th was the first stop. The night was not without drama. A bomb threat caused delays. But when Elvis finally hit the stage, he delivered an incredible performance. Fans who had waited 13 years to see him live again were not disappointed, witnessing the birth of the jumpsuit era. Did you know Elvis Presley was a huge comic book fan? His favorite character was Captain Marvel Jr. This circa 1970 photo shows the influence clearly. It's widely believed that Elvis modeled his signature look on this teenage superhero. His iconic jet black hairstyle with the sideburns and the famous kiss curl on his forehead were direct copies of the character's look. Later, his famous high-collared, caped jumpsuits from the 1970s were also inspired by Captain Marvel Jr.'s costume. His childhood comic book collection is still preserved at his Graceland home. This poignant photograph captures Elvis and Priscilla Presley leaving the courthouse in Santa Monica, California on October 9, 1973, after their divorce was finalized. The couple had separated in February 1972. Despite the end of their marriage, their divorce was notably amicable. They famously held hands during the court proceedings and even shared a friendly kiss before parting ways. They remained close friends for the rest of Elvis's life, dedicated to co-parenting their daughter, Lisa Marie. This image shows a rare moment of grace and mutual respect at the end of a very public love story. By 1974, Elvis's relationship with his record label, RCA, was complicated. Needing a new album but lacking new studio material, the label released one of the strangest records in music history, Having Fun with Elvis on Stage. This album contained zero music. Instead, it was a 37-minute compilation of Elvis's onstage banter, jokes, and stories recorded during his live concerts. While critics were baffled, the album actually sold well, even hitting the country charts. It remains a bizarre but fascinating collector's item, showcasing Elvis's unique charisma and his playful relationship with his audience. This photo captures one of Elvis Presley's final performances at the Providence Civic Center on May 23, 1977. By this time, Elvis was in visibly poor health. Despite his condition, he performed for the crowd of 13,500 fans. While he struggled through some songs, he delivered a powerful and chilling rendition of My Way, a song that had become a personal statement for him. This performance, like many on his final tour, showed his determination to connect with his audience even as his health was failing. Elvis died just a few months later, on August 16, 1977. This photo from December 21, 1970, offers a wider view of one of the most surreal meetings in American history. Here, Elvis Presley is seen in the Oval Office with President Richard Nixon. He is joined by his close friends and bodyguards, Jerry Schilling and Sonny West. It was Schilling and West who helped Elvis arrange the improbable meeting. Elvis had brought them along for support and to witness the event. He was passionate about his cause, and he successfully convinced President Nixon to grant him a federal narcotics badge, which he proudly carried for the rest of his life.